What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm coming at you with another dueling book game where I am on the Rikka Sunavalon deck and my opponent is on Spright. Now, my opponent is sitting at 634 rating and I was at 904 rating when I recorded this video. This is sort of the last test game I had for Rikka before I was able to take it to Fort Worth and make top 8. So this was a testing game where I was deciding what the build should look like going into the event. And yeah, I don't think anything changed between this list and the list I actually took to Fort Worth, so that's nice. But yeah, I remember this game a little bit, but it has been a couple weeks. I do remember this game is kind of crazy, especially game 1. So yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy this game. Before we hop into the duel, I want to let you guys know, Discord link down below, along with all of our other social media links, along with the fact that I am trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy this Yu-Gi-Oh content and you want to see more content like this, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me out here and what I do on the channel. But without further ado, let's hop into this dueling book game. So we're going to start with the rock, paper, scissors, in which I do lose, so I am going second against Spright, which is tough because obviously Spright set up an insane board going first if you don't have enough hand traps, right? So going into the opening hands, I open up with Rikka Glamour, Rikka Sheet, Infinite Impermanence, Rikka Snow Princess, and Unexpected Die. So one hand trap, but it's not something that's gonna stop like Sprite's turn, right? So it's like a decent hand, but not like the best go second hand. And our opponent opens up Spright Starter, Deep Sea Diva, Dupe Frog, Driver, and Swap Frog. Their hand is pretty good as far as like going first. Like this would be not a great go second hand, but going first this is quite nice. They have Starter, they have like one of their best like starters. I hate the fact that this is named Starter all of a sudden, but they have Deep Sea Diva and they have an extender in Swap Frog even if I had something like Gamma. So the fact that they open Driver isn't too terrible. They're going to start their turn off with Spright Starter, instantly locking them, and they're going to go ahead and special summon Spright Blue. They should take 1100 here. They're probably going to do it after they search, but they're going to add Jet to hand, and then they go ahead and take 11. They're going to special summon Jet, activate Jet effect, going to go ahead and add a Spright spell from their deck to their hand, being Starter, so not opting for the Smashers. They're going to go ahead and pitch Dupe Frog to special summon the Swap Frog, so they're swarming the field. They haven't committed their normal summon yet. Using Swap Frog's effect to send Ronin Totem from their deck to the grave. Going to go ahead and banish Dupe for Ronin Totem, and then Xyz with the Swap Frog. Now, when I remember playing this game, and I was like, that's kind of weird. I wonder why he didn't bounce Swap to hand and summon it again, and we see he has the Diva, which is nice. And I was like, I wonder what he's going to do here. And he's going to make the early Toad. So from this point on, I look at this Imperm and I'm like, yeah, this is something I'm probably saving for my next turn. But let's see where the opponent's turn goes from here. Then they're going to overlay into Gigantic Spright. They're going to activate Gigantic Spright's effect, detaching Ronin Totem from Totally Awesome. Now, this game was a couple of weeks ago, so Spright was much newer than it is now. And this was actually the first game where I realized that Gigantic Spright can detach from other Xyz monsters. It's really good when you detach something like Ronin Totem, right? So he's going to go ahead and special summon Swap Frog with the Gigantic Spright. Swap Frog effect, going to go ahead and dump the Swap Frog. Ronin Totem effect again to special the Ronin Totem. Going to go ahead and link those off, or I think he's deciding whether he wants to link or Xyz here. That's what it was. He's going to take the Gigantic Spright and the Swap Frog and link into Spright Elf. Spright Elf effect, bring back the Swap Frog. Does he have another one in his deck? No, right? He has... No, he shouldn't have any frogs in deck. So he's just going to go ahead and Xyz there into a second Totally Awesome. So playing two Totally Awesome. This is something that's not super common, but I've definitely seen it a few times. Normal summon Deep Sea Diva, special Diva, and set the starter. So I think what happened with the Divas here is he sort of locked off his Elf, or he locked off his zones with Elf. Like, he didn't want the Totally Awesomes to be able to be targeted, which is fair enough, but it'd be better to summon one of the Toads like over here and then make something like an IP Masquerena under the Elf slot, but he wasn't able to do that due to sort of locking himself with Totally Awesome. So definitely a slight misplay on his part, but at the same time it's nice because he has two Toads that can't be targeted, and he goes ahead and he sets the starter and passes to me. I draw 1 for 1, so like this hand isn't amazing going second, as we only had one hand trap and we decided to not even use it. But I draw this card and I'm like thinking to myself if it's worth scooping so he doesn't know what I'm playing, right? But I'm like, alright, I'm going to try and break this board. So In the draw phase, our opponent is going to activate starter, special summoning red. So he has a Toad negate, a spell and trap negate, and an elf, which brings back a Toad negate. So he has 3 very hard negates and Totally Awesome, which is a negate and destroy, and a spell and trap negate. So that's very, very powerful for a hand without many go second cards in it. So our opponent takes the 1000 for special summoning the carrot. I start my turn targeting the Sprite Elf with infinite impermanence. Our opponent is going to Totally Awesome negate to take the imperm, which will be troublesome on our next turn. And then Toad effect to add back. And he's going to add back a Swap Frog for some follow-up. From here, I'm going to activate Unexpected Die, to which our opponent does carrot negate, tributing Diva. Fair enough. I mean, Unexpected Die is a crazy card. He doesn't even want to know where it... Like, he's probably so confident in his interrupts that, you know, Unexpected Die could be something he doesn't want coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Rikka Glamour, which is just going to be a Rhoda here. I'm not tributing anything. And I'm going to add Rikka Petal from my deck to my hand. From here, I'm going to go 1-for-1, discard Princess, because I want to get sort of Princess in graveyard so that if I summon my Petal, she's sort of protected a little bit, right? Our opponent actually lets this go through, which I think if my opponent misplayed big anywhere, besides like not making IP, this is definitely the biggest point of like a misplay, is letting 1-for-1 resolve. I mean, if you negate 1-for-1, you sort of got a 2-for-1, right? So yeah, he lets us get to our monster. Now, I think he let the 1-for-1 go through because he wants me to have a monster on board so he can bring back his Toad, which, fair enough in that regard. I think that's, you know, it's fine. I still think negating 1-for-1 is the better play, but I get where he's coming from. I go ahead and normal summon Rikka Petal, activating the effect to search. He goes Totally Awesome to negate, and I tribute Petal with Snow Princess to negate the Totally Awesome effect, which I was sitting here like, this is probably where this game is going to be over for me, and we're going to jump into game 2. But then our opponent decides to negate Princess with Totally Awesome, which at this point I was like, what are you doing? Like, what does that stop? Like you could just Toad negate whatever Petal was going to search, so why negate the Princess, right? So like at this point, yeah, I don't get my search and my Princess got negated, which this should be back in deck as cost, which it will be in a second. But he's left a Loci on my field with no more interruptions, and I think he just didn't know where Loci could get me. So my opponent not knowing the matchup is kind of tough. Definitely had some misplays here and there. But yeah, with our no hand trap board, we were able to break through our opponent's insane board. And yes, it did take a couple of misplays on our opponent's part. Again, I think he just didn't know the matchup. He didn't know exactly what to negate, which is fair. When you're playing a deck like Rikka, your opponent's not always going to know what you're going for. So like, while our opponent did misplay in a couple of parts here, they weren't like egregious misplays, and it was mostly due to like lack of matchup experience. So I'm going to go into Sun Avalon combo here. I'm going to hit the fast forward button. Sowing, go for twin. Okay, we went too fast. So explaining what happened, I didn't know fast forward was going to jump like that. It usually is a little slower for me. Sowing, special summon twin. Twin, special summon back the Loci. Dryas, then because we lost 1,000, gained 1,000 to special summon Thrasher. I took both the Dryas and the Thrasher to make the Jasmine, and then I linked off the Twin into Dryas, so now we're back caught up. Loci into Healer. Healer target Dryas to gain 300. Jasmine to search Snow Princess, which is an interesting search. I guess it wasn't worth searching Mudon? Why would I not search Mudon here? I guess I'm going to tribute Dryas to special summon Mudon. Mudon effect to add back Arrival. Anyway, Mudon goes ahead and activates Arrival. Arrival set Glamour, which we've already used this turn, so we can't activate it again. I'm going to link off the Jasmine and the Healer to go for Dance Peony, choosing to extend instead of going for Malias, which I think is interesting. But definitely fine because I'm not making like a Snowdrop or anything. Dance Peony, Mill Primula, Sowing, and Gamma. So this list was actually on 2 Sowing. So I mentioned in my profile I was testing that for a while. I haven't been on it since, but I was on 2 Sowing in this list. Then we will go ahead and link off the Dance Peony into Malias, and then Malias bring out Loci, and then Loci and Malias into the Bangalancer. Okay, and then Primula is actually a good hit because we searched the Princess, so now we're able to special the Princess because we discarded off 1-for-1 earlier. into Strenna, which is an amazing card. Strenna add back some follow-up in the form of Mudon, who actually, special summoning Mudon and adding the princess actually worked out amazing here. I didn't even think that far ahead. I think it just sort of worked out for me in this situation. It's really good because Mudon has not used her effect to summon. So now we can go... I guess it didn't matter. I was about to say, now I can use Mudon to tribute his Spright Elf and special summon Mudon just to special her and get rid of the elf. But no, I decided to tribute Strenna, which I think is the better play, to be honest. Because I haven't gone battle phase, I'm going to beat over everything. But I was thinking, just to note that I could have added back Mudon to tribute one of his cards and kept the Strenna, which plays around Dark Ruler better and plays around like the Imperm better. No, I actually think tributing his monster was the better play, because I can tribute Strenna with either Princess or Sheet on my next turn. So yeah, I think a slight misplay on my part tributing the Strenna. Plays in a Dark Ruler more, and he's asking how I tributed the Strenna. Yeah, I think leaving Strenna on my board was better. So we explained to him how everything went down here and why Teardrop's on the field. It was Strenna's effect because she was tributed. And yeah, we're going to go into battle phase. Bangalancer swing at Elf. Teardrop swing at the Carrot. And then Mudon swing at the Deep Sea Diva. And we're able to clear his board and set Sheet. So now, going through multiple Toad interrupts and, you know, our opponent's end board, we were able to end Teardrop, Bangalancer, Arrival with Sheet, and Princess. So, honestly, pretty insane. Now, it was due to our opponent not really knowing that he needs to make sure low-side combo doesn't resolve, but I think the Princess freaked him out and he wanted to negate. So, he's going to start the turn using our Infinite Impermanence to hit our Teardrop, fair enough. And he drew an Imperm of his own, so he's going to target Bangalancer, also pretty fair. Our opponent's going to discard Ronin Totem to special Swap Frog. He has no frogs in deck, so he's going to use its effect to bring back, and then he's going to discard the Swap Frog in his hand to special summon Swap Frog, Vanish Swap for Ronin, special summon Ronin, and at this point, I'm pretty sure I can just activate Sheet, and I will tribute his monster to take his monster, and that will be the end of game 1, which was a crazy game if you think about it. We played through 4 very hard interrupts. Well, Carrot's not like a hard interrupt, but she did negate Unexpected Die. We're still able to take it and make a crazy board, and that's the power of Rikka. Now, because we didn't open any real go second cards besides one Imperm, like, we probably should have lost that game if our opponent played perfectly, but it's important to note that sometimes you can win a game because your opponent doesn't play perfect. Like, you put your opponent on, you better play exactly how you are supposed to play or I'm going to win this game, and that's sort of what we did in this one. So going into game 2, we are going to go second here. And let's look at the opening hands. I opened the Sheet again, which is buns. Why did I open this 2 games in a row? Probably should have sided it out, but I really like not siding this card out. I've learned my lesson. Every time I side this card out, I regret it. And then we have Imperm, Low Side, Unexpected Die, and Gamma. So this is a good hand. Our opponent opens it, Cross Out Designator, Spright Blue, Deep Sea Diva, E-Telly, Anti-Spell. This hand's insane. Yo, my opponent's opening up cracked. This hand is so good. Like, they're mostly only good go first hand, so maybe our opponent wasn't playing enough hand traps like they should be, and that's why every hand he has is amazing, but we know he's playing some hand traps because of the Designator, so let's see how our opponent plays this out. He's going to activate Emergency Teleport, Special Summoning Cyframe Gear Gamma, so on the Gamma package. Special Blue effect, going to go ahead and add probably Jet, potentially Red. He's going to add Jet and special summon Jet effect to add a Spright spell. He's going to add the Spright starter effect to special summon probably Red. Yes, Red from deck. Then from this point, he still hasn't used his normal summon because this man is opening the gas. He's going to link those off into Spright Elf. Normal summon the Deep Sea Diva effect. And I'm thinking about Imperming, but I can't Imperm because of the Spright Elf anyways. I'm pretty much, or maybe I'm thinking about Gamming. That makes more sense. I almost forgot I had Gamma in hand. I have Gamma Imperm, which is great, right? But again, my opponent has had so much gas, and I can't like Gamma and chain Imperm on the red if he chooses to negate because of the elf. He's had so much gas that I don't even want to use my hand traps on my opponent's turn, so I'm probably going to save those for my turn unless we are in a good position here to use one of those. And I am going to Gamma, and my opponent decides to cross out Designator, which I'm kind of fine with because I essentially get to save Gamma for my next turn. My opponent could have read and tributed Elf to negate and destroy, but honestly my opponent didn't even have to do that. If he activates Gigantic because of its effect and I Gamma, he can just red tribute the blue And sure, I could activate Gamma again later this turn if I wasn't under the restriction of Gigantic Spright. So my opponent playing around the Gamma a little bit weird. Like maybe he just wanted to use his cross out and not use his red in case I have Nibiru. Maybe he doesn't have Nibiru in his deck, and in this case, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I guess I could chain Nibiru here, right? Like, say he goes red effect and I chain Nibiru. No, okay, I see where he's going with this. Okay, I know why he designated now. Designator plays around Nibiru, fair enough. So he's going to special summon the Swap Frog, and now our opponent just has combo. He's going to go for IP. This is what he should have sort of done in game 1. Elf effect, bring back the Swap Frog. Swap Frog effect, dump a frog from deck. In this case, it is going to be the Swap Frog. Banish Swap to activate Ronin. Our opponent definitely going through pretty standard Sprite plays here. Gonna go ahead and exceed those into Totally Awesome and set Anti-Spell. I mean, like, I'm going to draw for turn here. I draw DD Crow, and honestly, Imperm, Gamma, and DD Crow during my turn would probably be good enough to like actually break this board or get very, very close. But my opponent flips Anti-Spell, and Unexpected Die was definitely a huge part of breaking this board. I go ahead and say, yo, that's crazy, because Anti-Spell plus this board, like, how is anyone beating that, right? Toad Effect, I'm going to go ahead and Infinite Impermanence it, to which my opponent is going to negate. Just wants to set Imperm more than likely. I chain the Crow so that he doesn't get his add back for follow-up, and we're in a situation where Elf can't bring back Totally Awesome. So my opponent can't red the Crow either because he knows I have Gamma, and that's why he says the Gamma got me, right? Like, these 3 hand traps on my turn are still going to be insane for breaking this board. Our opponent knows he can't activate red, so the Toad is just going to get crowed, which is great for us. He's going to set the Imperm, which is huge. I normal summon Loci. My opponent is thinking here. He's going to activate the Elf effect to bring back the... he forgot to special summon for Toad, so fair enough. He's going to special summon his Dupe Frog. That does still resolve. Now Elf effect to bring back Swap Frog. I know someone is watching this video like, he didn't summon his frog. We fixed it. We're good. Swap Frog effect. He dumps another Swap Frog, and he's going to go ahead and probably activate IP here. No, saying it's fine. That's fair. I mean, he could just... My Dryas doesn't really do anything because of Anti-Spell. So we are just in a very, very tough position. So he's going to actually tribute Elf to negate and destroy Dryas. I don't think that was necessary at all. In fact, it just plays into Gamma a little bit more. My opponent, I try to end the turn, but he says before end of main, he's going to use the effect of IP, which he knew I had Gamma, so that's pretty interesting. Because I sort of tried to end the turn here, I have to type in chat what I'm about to do, which battle phase, driver attack Dupe Frog. He's going to get Dupe effect to add a frog from his graveyard to his hand and the Swap Frog, and then Gamma attack Swap. But now I'm going to Synchro Summon into Omega, which was definitely something my opponent wasn't probably expecting. We're going to Omega effect, take the Swap Frog out of his hand, and then my opponent draws Gamma. Now from here, I have a sheet that does nothing, and I have Unexpected Die. So my opponent starts playing, and the writing's on the wall. This game is over. There's nothing I can do. I'm still under Anti-Spell next turn. It's like, I don't lose there necessarily, but I lose there. I mean, like, I lose. So we're going into game 3, and I get to go first here. Gonna go ahead and look at the opening hands. Okay, I opened Gamma, Arrival, Petal, Unexpected Die, and Glamour. Yo, this hand is crazy going first or second. That's a great hand. My opponent opens Jet, Imperm, Gamma, Starter, Dupe Frog. So my opponent's hands have been insane all game. Like Gamma, Imperm, that's very, very nice. So I'm going to start with Unexpected Die, hoping he ashes. He doesn't. So I go ahead and special summon out Loci. Activate Arrival, normal the Petal, Arrival effect to set Rikka Sheet. Going to go ahead and get that interrupt out of the way. So even if I get hand trapped, I know I'm going to get somewhere. Our opponent's thinking here. He's going to go ahead and Imperm my Petal when I activate its effect to go ahead and search. Fair enough. I'm going to tribute the Petal to add 2 monsters from my deck to my hand because I tributed. It's going to be Primula and Snow Princess. I'm going to go ahead and activate Primula to special summon, which my opponent says is good. I'm going to go ahead and activate Snow Princess to special summon. My opponent says that's good. And then I'm going to overlay both of these for Strenna. Strenna effect, detach the Princess to go ahead, and my opponent's going to Gamma. And I really want to, like, here is a really weird spot. I guess I wanted Glamour in hand because I Princess, tributing the Strenna to negate Gamma, and then I go Strenna effect, which was actually a complete misplay. I should not have done that. That's a misplay on my part, because I want to make sure Loci goes off. So if my opponent, me negating his Gamma was an opportunity for my opponent to not be punished for his misplay. He should not have negated Strenna with the Gamma in the first place, but I almost let him take that back, right, by using Princess effect to negate. I always should have let Gamma resolve, because then Loci is free to do his thing. But luckily, our opponent goes ahead and Gammas the Strenna effect, and then I'm going to go for Sunavalon combo, which we've seen a billion times. I wish I could fast forward, but it just goes so fast. Sowing effect. Sowing is going to go ahead and special summon Sunseed Twin. Twin is going to special summon the Loci, and Dryas is going to special summon the Thrasher from extra deck. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Link those two off for Jasmine. Link off the Twin into Dryas. Link off the Loci into Healer. Healer effect to gain 300 life points. Jasmine effect to search. I've gone through this combo so many times, guy. Mudon is going to be the card I search here. Jasmine effect, tribute the Healer to Specialty Princess. I'm going to link those off into Dance Peony. So really going for Dance Peony in this game, just to extend more, I guess. And then I'm going to mill a Pointer, Rivalry, and Primula. So those would have been some nice go first cards, not going to lie. Mudon effect, tributing over his Gamma. To Specialty Mudon. Mudon effect, I'm going to go ahead and add another Arrival. I'm going to use Dance Peony effect to make both my monsters level 4. Overlay into Strenna. Link Dance Peony and Dryas off into Malias. Malias effect, special summon Loci. Link those off into Bangalancer. And yeah, we sort of end right here. So through Gamma and Imperm, we're able to end with Strenna, with Sheet. Oh my goodness, why is this thing here? This capture thing is so annoying. We're going to end Sheet and Strenna with Bangalancer, with Princess Engrave. So it's like 3 or 4 interrupts through 2 hand traps. Very, very nice. Our opponent is going to go ahead and activate the Sprite starter, special summoning Blue. Blue effect to add, and I'm going to go ahead and Princess negate, tributing the Strenna to negate the Blue. Strenna effect, going to go ahead and special summon and overlay either Hyperion or Teardrop. I go for the Teardrop. Nothing at resolution here, so I'm not activating the Teardrop. I tell him to take 11. He's going to special summon the Jet effect. Going to go ahead and add Splight Smashers. And from here, he's going to activate Smashers. And Smashers does not banish on field for cost, so there needs to be a level 2 after, he activates it. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Rikka Sheet, tributing his Blue to take his Jet, and then Smashers does not resolve because he can't banish a level, link, or rank 2 he controls. So that is it for Smashers. Now our opponent still has the dupe pitch for the Swap Frog, so our opponent definitely having some gas here himself. He's going to special summon the Ronin Totem, and then from here I can just Teardrop effect, tribute the swap, and he just has a Ronin Totem. We have Bangalancer, we have Petal follow up. This game is beyond over, so we're going to switch the Teardrop to attack, activate Petal effect, a little bit of fast forward. We're going to activate Glamour, or just adding the Snowdrop, tribute Petal for Snowdrop, special Princess, make Alsay, Bangalancer go ahead and bounce his Ronin Totem. And then we're going to use Alsay effect, calling the Winged Dragon of Ra. Let's see if that's the top card of our deck. Surprising, it's not. Alsay effect, detach, bounce the Jet, go battle phase, and that is more than enough for game here. That will be it for the game. Honestly, I think this game was pretty insane. There were a couple misplays on both parts. My opponent didn't know my deck super well, right? So it could have been played more perfectly on both of our sides, but overall, I think it was an awesome game. It was a pretty good game if you ask me. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and, feel free to, check out the Discord down below. I don't know, I'm just ranting at this point. I'm rambling. Yo, here's another thing. Talking for 27 minutes is tough, so I'm sorry for my rambling, but I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.